Hey everybody, Chuck here. Going to continue on with our videos, and this one we're moving into Module 3, Section B, Design and Implement Supply Chain Transformation, Work Streams and Projects. And specifically, we're going to look at collaborating with the internal and external stakeholders here. So again, as a reminder, Chuck opinion piece. Not using ASCM PowerPoints, and I'm looking to get practice as well as hopefully by sharing this helps you as well. But coming back to the topic of design and implement work streams and projects, we are in the execution part of the module here. And, going out and saying, this is how we're going to do the work, and these are the steps we're going to go through, certainly part of a transformation process. But what we're looking at here is giving some thought before you sit down and say, and figure out this is how we're going to do it, is think about things like is this a internal party? Is this an external party that we're working with? How involved they have to be? Stepping back and thinking about our culture, their culture, processes, policies, and procedures, giving some mature and thoughtful insight and thinking before you dive in and take that change on. So we're really going to be talking about that front end more than anything else here. So, let's talk about what those key points are and what you and I have to think about. In general, got to build trust and a relationship with the stakeholders, and we've got to understand what the influences are and keep them up to state or up to date, as well as prioritize the stakeholders. Who do we have to work with first, second, third, or fourth? So we use our time well. But we can't change if we don't have a good foundation of trust and a good relationship. So if we're looking internally, one of the critical stakeholders that we should focus on for trust, relationship building, anyone with high influences. Okay. Doesn't matter whether they're unsupportive, neutral, or supportive, it's the right thing to do. And even if a person disagrees with you, they will respect you because you've worked on building trust and relationships with them, and they understand where you're coming from, and you're not trying to blow anything by them. When we're working on the transformation and it's an external party, they may be directly involved in the transformation. And if that's the case, their participation is going to be required. Okay. So they're going to be beneficiaries. They're going to be impacted by the new processes and systems. We may or may not require their agreement, but I would still say it's important to build the trust and the relationship. In the first case, building trust when they're involved is absolutely essential. And it typically starts from the highest level of our organization and their organization to agree on, yes, we're going to work on this together. So as you and I work on it, we know we have that blessing ahead of time. Okay. And even if it's indirectly impacting the partner, we should still consult with them and talk with them and help them understand what we're doing and why and the impact and build the relationship that way. Okay. Something to think about as well is when we're working with external parties, we need to come to the table with a recommendation. It's not, we got to change. What do you think we ought to do? They're looking to us, since we're the primary party requiring the transformation, that we come out and say, hey, this is what we want to do. Here's why. Here's the impact. And we think it's going to offer you as much value as it does for us. So both of us come out ahead and we both win in this conversation. Otherwise, why would they do it if they have to give up something that's not going to help them? So as a whole, we've got to enable trust. We've got to provide useful information. We've got to inform everybody on the capabilities needed, capabilities we're hoping for. They're hoping we're going to have the capabilities to perform it. We've got to give wise recommendations. Hopefully it's innovative, wise decisions. So again, everybody comes out with a benefit out of it. Okay. It also means both sides, especially us as a leader requesting, transformations of others, we better be good in managing relationships ourselves. Okay. And we better be prepared to respond quickly, whether opportunities come up for the both of us. to both of our benefits, or if either party's threatened, we're watching for that and responding accordingly. Okay. Part of this engagement with external parties or stakeholders in general, be it internal or external, is we've got to be prepared ourselves and to help our stakeholders operate successfully behaviorally, emotionally, mentally, energetically. I don't know that we're trying to be psychologists, so to speak, but it's right to help people explore the space where the change is going on and helping people deal with it successfully. So we usually use a process where we identify the changes, understand them, analyze them, engage with them, and change those processes and behaviors, and then monitor it and grow and reinforce the ones that are working. So this is going to include not just our employees, but customers, suppliers, regulators, entirely possible as well. Because our goal ultimately is to make sure that our stakeholders inside and externally, they are capable of, they have the ability of, they know the path to move from where we are today to where we need to be in terms of, at a minimum, the technical ability to make things happen in the process. So it's going to be important for us to identify who the stakeholders are, take time to understand, what's in it, not just for us, but what's in it for them, what's going to mean for them. It does go back, if you've read the 7 Habits by Stephen Covey, one of his categories was, seek to understand before you're going to be understood, or something like that. I don't remember the exact title. It's been a while since I've read it, but we need to understand others first and demonstrate that ability to see things from their perspective. So then we've got to make sure we're looking at how the stakeholders internally and externally fit into the transformation. What's the power dynamics and what are their power interests and their goals? How are we going to interact? Unfortunately, as part of any company is political aspects that we've got to think about. How best to engage folks. What's the goal? In what way? The median? What's the message? How often we're going to engage with them? We've got to look at, how do we prioritize? Who do we work with first, second, third, or fourth? Who do we work with the stakeholders concurrently? Who do we bring together? How do we monitor the results? An important thing in this that's really a trap if we're not careful is we could assume we know what the answer is or how the other person operates, and we have to avoid that. We have to have the courage to explore the assumptions, challenge ourselves. Oh, I was assuming this. I see you meant that. Is that true? But also challenging the stakeholder to say, it sounds like you're assuming this. That's correct. Or it could be, it sounds like you're assuming this. However, I really meant this, and here's what I'm trying to accomplish. So we've got to avoid those assumptions. We've got to make sure with employees, we talk about the in the participant guide with employees, but I think it applies to suppliers and customers as partners. We have that opportunity to provide training to them on our behalf. Who pays for it is a whole nother conversation, but I'm a strong believer as the supply chain partner. I'm going to customers and suppliers, and I'm kind of looking out on their behalf to making sure they're getting the necessary training for new roles, change management, et cetera, because it will benefit me certainly, but they have to plan, source, deliver, make all that stuff just like we do. If it's going to help me, it's probably going to apply to them as well. So it makes sense for me to offer that training, because if it helps them, it's going to make them better, going to make me better, going to make my processes better, and my supply chain equally as effective. So it makes sense in this whole training area that we involve our partners, be it customers, be it suppliers, at the same time as well.